Thank you. At the outset, I wish to thank AIOS, Dr. Namrata and Dr. Murli for putting together this wonderful session on pediatric corneal diseases. I have no financial interest in the mention of any procedures during the course of this talk here. Over the next few minutes, we will talk about the Indian perspectives of keratoconus in pediatric eyes here. So a look at all the published data, and I think all of us who are into cornea practice, we would agree that India does see a large amount of keratoconus cases, especially pediatric keratoconus. And you look at prevalence of keratoconus, India ranks along with the Middle East countries as the number two in position, with Colombia scoring higher, and we have about 2,300 of keratoconus cases per lakh population here. And we do find a significant amount of them having syndromic associations, with Down syndrome leading the list of the syndromic associations which show keratoconus, especially pediatric keratoconus here. We have an excellent recent study here, which was published from RP Center by Dr. Namrata Sharma's group here, and we have found 58% of pediatric keratoconus eyes to be associated with VKC here. And what is really alarming is almost 50% of those are in advanced stages of keratectasia when we are looking at them here, compared to those which do not have allergic eye disease here. So that's something which is a concern when we look at a combination of diseases in this scenario here. So when we look at pediatric keratoconus with ocular allergic disease, what we find in our scenario is there is an earlier onset of keratoconus in these eyes here. And these eyes who have allergic disease show a tendency for very rapid progression, and a very higher amount of progression is seen as compared to those you would see in adult eyes here. So much so that you probably would think of, and it is now an accepted norm, to offer collagen cross-linking for these pediatric eyes at the first instance of examination. And it has been observed that there is a greater need for keratoplasty if collagen cross-linking is delayed in these eyes here. Again, looking at stabilization, we have a couple of studies here which talk about the long-term stabilization of collagen cross-linking. But we really do not know how we can compare the effects of these of collagen cross-linking in adult eyes to that of pediatric eyes here. They seem to be a little less effective. There's probably a tendency for a regression and a need for enhancement when you're talking about pediatric keratoconus eyes, and more so when these eyes have associated allergic eye disease here. Again, there's a higher risk of keratitis when you look at collagen cross-linking in keratoconus eyes associated with VKC here. Looking at what protocol of collagen cross-linking really helps, I think there is enough data which is now coming out to say perhaps it's the conventional cross-linking which is really going to work well, and there is not enough data to look at the other varied protocols. So the epi-off conventional cross-linking protocol is perhaps what gives you the best effects in terms of stabilization for these pediatric eyes here. Again, a higher instance of acute eye drops because of the rapid progression of ectasia in pediatric keratoconus eyes. We all know that the prognosis for keratoplasty in keratoconus, though it is one of the excellent prognosis conditions here, but pediatric eyes do not seem to fare as well with keratoplasty as compared to those in the adults. So that's in a nutshell of how pediatric keratoconus fares along with VKC. So this large data of about 160 eyes which was studied shows that there is a male preponderance. The bilateral disease could be asymmetrical in presentation. More than 50% of the cases studied were progressive in these pediatric eyes here. Association of acute eye drops is always found in about 8% of eyes. Systemic associations close to 10% here. And ocular associations, so that's important. It's about close to 70% of them have other associated systemic or ocular conditions here. And VKC, I've already said more than 50% of them have VKC, and close to 50% of the eyes with VKC are in the advanced stages. And most of these refractive errors associated in these eyes tend to be large with a significant amount of astigmatism as well. And the topographic features again is in favor. It shows advanced keratic disease in these eyes here. When you look at particular concerns in pediatric eyes with keratoconus, the constant eye rubbing, the associated ocular allergy, the imaging difficulties in these pediatric eyes leading to inconsistencies in the imaging, particularly in sequential imaging, the associated ocular comorbidities, and the amblyopia all make it difficult to manage pediatric keratoconus here. I'll just take you over the next few minutes over these steps, which are the common practice concerns when we are dealing with keratoconus in children. So what happens when refraction does not work? We know most of the time refraction doesn't work well. It's very difficult to refract these patients. We need our experienced optometrists to look at and give them an accurate refraction here. But there's poor satisfaction with the optical correction obtained with glasses, and frequent change of glasses is always seen in these particular eyes. So contact lens rehabilitation of children is not easy, but then it is still a viable option here, provided you choose your patients wisely. You will need probably a large amount of chair time, a committed team here to look at these patients, and just sharing some of the examples of pediatric keratoconus eyes, which we have been successfully able to fit. And these are, as you could see, advanced keratectasia eyes, and they do fit well with scleral contact lenses, with the many scleral lenses here. And we are probably able to do away with the need of doing keratoplasty in these eyes as well. But this said, this probably does not apply to all eyes. You need to pick up those children who would be, who are perhaps motivated enough, whose parents are perhaps motivated enough. And when this works, it really gives you, or enhances the quality of vision and pushes the need for keratoplasty further down here. What you also tend to look at in these eyes is if we are missing anything else. So there is a list of ocular and systemic conditions here that, as we know in the Indian scenario, ocular allergic disease scores high among all these in this entire listing. We do get a significant amount of Down's patients, which we see in our practice. But remember, amblyopia and a progressive axial myopia also tend to occur along with other pathologies in this eye here. Concerns with management of ocular allergy is particularly significant in pediatric keratoconus when it is associated. You would have a varied profile of disease in these eyes here. In severe VKCs, as I already said, the keratoconus has an early onset, has an increased severity, progresses rapidly with the advanced ectasia here, and you have associated comorbidities as a result of therapy-induced complications here, which one needs to deal with effectively here. Collagen cross-linking concerns, again, we have looked at these, and the keratoplasty concerns, I think I will just take them on as we go down the course of this talk here. Ectasia tends to occur more rapidly in these eyes because of the rapid progression. A word of caution when you are taking them for intracameral gas injections here, be cautious that you could miss or you could land up with malignant glaucoma in these eyes if the isoexpansile is not really isoexpansile.
1 minute remaining.
Yeah. So is collagen cross-linking helping in these particular eyes here? The rapid progression, there's a need of GA in these eyes here. And we need to understand that when we look at collagen cross-linking, the effects in children perhaps are not going to be as long-lasting as you would see in adults here. So that's something which you need to look at, the need for enhancement, need for constant monitoring of these eyes is again important. And again, collagen cross-linking can be associated with keratitis when there is severe allergic disease here. Allergic disease needs to be stabilized. When do you want to intervene in these particular eyes? Yeah, when you document progression in those cases where you can wait to document progression, that's when we would look at these eyes, and those with high risk characteristics tend to progress much faster than others. So look for these high risk characteristics, and these eyes need to be taken on earlier than you would require. Keratoplasty, both PK and DALK do well here. The indications remain the same as you would do in adult cases here. The success rates for big bubble DALK in pediatric keratoconus is as high as 75 to 80%. But remember the particular problems of rapid suture loosening in these eyes, the problem of graft rejections here, the need for serial follow-ups is again very important here. And one important is the epithelial healing problems, rapid suture loosening, especially in eyes with allergic disease, and the associated trauma, steroid-induced glaucoma, all need to be looked at. I think with this, I would stop here, and I would thank Dr. Namrata for the opportunity to participate in this. Thank you again.